first slice. Look at how beautiful that is. I can't even wait. I'm just gonna go for it. Look at this. It's hard to... Let me just get the spoon so you can see how tender it is. It's spoon tender. All right, I'm gonna go into a little bit of the oil. I don't have my Hawaiian rolls yet. The seasoning tastes like a stuffing or like a gravy, like a dressing. It's so well seasoned. Look at that. On Auntie Fee's video, she had the one pocket. Boy, those Hawaiian rolls can't get there fast enough. Can't get here fast enough. One last piece. A little bit of the fat. She said put it fat side down. Okay. Well, I guarantee you this thing is absolutely flavorful. Tender is I don't know what. Beautiful. What else do you want? It's time to make Auntie Fee's pork roast for the holidays. Boy, you gotta see that video. That thing has me in stitches, literally. Okay, God. Auntie Fee's was so funny. Again, follow her channel at auntiefee and Tavis. They're still uploading. Her son Tavis Hunter is still uploading videos, and he's doing a great job. But I am so grateful that they uploaded all those videos. Okay, so in that video, Auntie Fee does pork roast for the holidays, and the video, I believe, that goes with that, like it's a part 1 and a part 2, she shows how to make the wet seasoning. And I used this in when I did making Auntie Fee's salmon croquettes using mackerel. That's on my channel. But here I have about 3/4 cup of her wet seasoning, which is celery, parsley, and green onion. I have a little bit of like a scant tablespoon of garlic powder, and I'm gonna put... She doesn't give the proportions because by the time the video begins, the paste is already made, and Tavis said it looks like guacamole, which has me dying too. Okay, I'm trying to measure it. I'm just gonna have to do it freehand. Hold on. What I'm trying to do is measure my onion. Let me put it in the measuring spoon, and then I'll let you see what I did. Okay, so this is going to be a level tablespoon. It might be about a little over 2 teaspoons if it was ground, but it's not. But since it's going in with the wet seasoning and it's going to be moist, I'm just going to go on ahead and put it on like this. Put it in like this. Also, this is going to take parsley. I'm sorry. This is going to take flour, and I imagine some salt because it's not salted. So I'm gonna do half of it, and it's also gonna need paprika. Let me get those ingredients out. 1 teaspoon of black pepper. 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, not smoked. She says the only time you use smoked is when she's doing her ribs or anything she wants to have a smoky flavor. And then the last thing I'm going to add, it looks like maybe I'm going to start with 1 heaping tablespoon of just some all-purpose flour. Here's my heaping tablespoon of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add half of it for now. Hers was already melted and I just took mine out of the fridge. So she had liquid in her, so it's gonna be easier to tell how much, you know, how much flour you're gonna need to make the paste. So I'm gonna let this come to room temperature, or at least get a little bit more melted. Shouldn't take long. It's a warm California morning. Okay. Because of the way I processed the wet seasoning, it breaks up very easily. It's not waterlogged. So you see it's nice and fluffy. I'm just breaking up the big chunks. Like I said, it should not take too long for this thing to melt. And I'm just trying to gauge how much flour I think I'm gonna need. I'm gonna add just a tiny little bit more flour. Okay, I still have, you know, just like a scant tablespoon, because I started off with a heaping tablespoon, and that just means when you say heaping, that's just, it looks like a little mound, not falling off of the spoon measure. It just looks rounded on the top. So it's looking good. I know that I only added 1 tablespoon of the paprika because I know that the majority of it goes on the surface of it to give it that attractive color, and it also goes into the gravy. But I know we are relying on this flour to help thicken this gravy as it cooks. So that's why I wanted to make sure there was enough. Okay, I think I'm gonna end up using the whole thing, but let me not get drastic. Let me just give this a few minutes, and then I will be back when I add if I need to add, and when I do add the additional the additional flour. But dealing with the pork roast, she looks like she has a whole pork loin, and she cuts a hole, like a pocket, right in the middle. This is a beautiful piece of roast. I'm only going to use half of the roast, so it's nice and dry, and it's very, very cold still. I'm going to wrap one up and put it away because it's only going to be 3 people eating this, and it's just going to be too much for us. So let me do that, and then I'm going to cut the pocket in the middle, the baby's mouth, and then we're going to continue the video. So on Auntie Fee's video, when she cuts her pork roast, she makes a pocket that does not go all the way to the bottom because you don't want the seasoning to fall out. But I've gone ahead and made four babies' mouths. That's what she calls it. It's funny, right? I made 4, and I'm sure she would not object to that. But if you do it the original way, then you're just going to put it in right in the middle, all the way down, and rub it around. I'm still going to do that, and my seasoning is still a little bit frozen. So in the meantime, all I'm going to do is put a tiny little bit of salt, a little bit of my sea salt, and season all of the inside pockets of the meat, because again, I just reviewed her video, and it looks like she's using garlic salt and onion salt, and I don't have any salt yet, so I do want to make sure that my meat is salted. So I'm just gonna put this, and I'm gonna open each of the pockets, rub it in, and then again I'm going to just wait until my season is all melted and good, and then I'm probably gonna add the rest of my flour. Boy, I have been looking forward to making this recipe since I saw it. It's a very practical recipe, and I made some corn meal rolls to go with it. In her video, she uses Hawaiian rolls, and they look so good, but I don't have Hawaiian rolls, and I really didn't want to make any. So, and I thought corn would taste good with the pork. All right. Gonna rub this salt in, this salt and that salt. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the flour. My oven is preheating. Auntie said 350 degrees for 2 hours. I'm gonna add mine in at 250 degrees for about 3.5 hours. Same difference. Okay, still needs just a little bit more defrosting, but we're getting there. We are getting there. And here's my pockets. I added a tiny little bit of salt, and then after I fill it with the wet seasoning, then we have to rub the seasoning all over, add some additional seasoning, put it into the baking dish, and then put it in the oven. So I'm gonna give this probably another 5 or so minutes. Then we're gonna start filling the pork roast. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Okay, I switched to a spoon. So what you do is you go in and fill it with all that seasoning. Okay, you get the drift. Auntie Fee, she just made one, and then she filled it all the way up. But like I said, I'm doing, and the roast, it's going to shrink, and then all these gaps are going to close in. I think I'm also going to just put a little tie around it so it can kind of stay a little bit together. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fill all of the pockets and with the wet seasoning, and then I'm going to get some string, and then we'll season the outside with the remaining seasoning, wet seasoning paste. We'll wet it, and then you'll see how I did the tie on the outside. Okay, the season is in, and I just, look, all the seasoning is in, and I just put a little bit of cotton string. It's called trussing, and I just trussed it just to kind of keep everything in and together in kind of a neat package. And then Auntie Fee said, put the rest of the season all around. Just spread it around. Oh man, when Tavis said, how come you didn't show me how to do all this? She told him that he had no business making one, that she would take care of him. I wish we could have gotten 1,000 million more videos out of those two, but the ones we have are priceless. Anybody who's an Auntie Fee fan knows exactly how I feel. What a funny dynamic duo. Okay, then the last step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and get some water. I'm going to put it in here just to get, because every little thing means something. So that's what Auntie Fee says. And what she's trying to say is we're not going to waste all this seasoning that's already gone into it. And then after I get the water, we're going to put the final seasoning on top of the roast, get the butter, rub everything in, and then put it in the oven. I didn't need to melt the butter. It's softened butter that she uses. So then you get all of the seasoning, the butter, rub it in. Rub it all in. All that seasoning. Smells good enough to eat already. It's very fragrant. Okay, let me wash my hands. Wash and dry my hands, and then I'm gonna add the last bit of paprika and then the water. Okay, last little bit of paprika. And lastly, the water, the leftover water from the season. I use hot water, and you don't pour it on because you don't want to knock off all the seasonings. She uses about that much, I would say. She's using a more shallow pan than I am. And now it's time to go in the oven. She doesn't indicate that that it's going on in covered. So I guess it just gets cooked uncovered. I'm gonna check it. I don't want my seasoning on top to burn, but I will be basting it once it's kind of going for at least, I would say I'll probably start basting it in 30 minutes. It's been about 45 minutes at 250 degrees, uncovered. I don't want the paprika to burn. So I'm just gently basting it. It smells delicious. We've got a while to go. This is how we do it to keep it from drying out and getting those flavors set. Okay, I'm gonna put it in for another 45 minutes and then we'll baste it again. Okay, here's the second basting. It's been about another hour. Look at how red it's getting. It just looks great. All the juices are starting to come together. Okay, sorry about that. My kid's in piano class. Okay, another basting. I'm gonna take the internal temperature. See how close I am. I've put up so it's been at 250 degrees for 3 hours. I'm gonna check the temp. See where it goes. It's like upside down. Okay. The reason I'm bringing the temperature up is because my son's gonna eat. So I'm gonna put it into the oven. I've put the oven up to 350 degrees. That was the temperature she said, 350 for 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my thermometer. We're just under, and I think by the time that the oven preheats, then it'll be ready. Okay, I just took this off. Took this out, not off. For heating it, so I put it up to 350 degrees for half hour. And it's just boiling away, and I think that's what it really needed to get all those, that flour boiled up and get that thickening power out of it. Auntie Fee used a more shallow dish, which would have created a lot more evaporation. And she also used a metal pan, which would have also created more dehydration, and the sauce would have thickened. And of course, I heated mine at a much lower temperature because I didn't want to seize my meat up right at the beginning. Look at how good this looks. Get your little flavor selves in here. I'm gonna remove the roast out of the juice, not right now. I'm just gonna let it sit. I don't wanna do anything to it. I'm gonna let it rest, lightly covered in aluminum foil for at least 20 minutes. And then I'm going to get the liquid out of here, and I'm going to just strain it a little bit. Not strain it, I'm gonna just degrease it a tiny little bit. There's not a lot, but you can see right at the top of the dish, you could see just the littlest bit of oil, and I just want to remove some of that. But like I said, I'm gonna let it rest first. But look at how good that looks. Auntie Fee's roast for the holiday. Also, every once in a while, I'm gonna come up around the sides where that's where all that seasoning was. All that seasoning was on the side. And I am going to work all that into the sauce because that's all flavor. Okay. It's all delicious flavor. I could see and feel how tender it is already. It looks wonderful. It smells divine. Divine, darling. Let's see. Get all that. Working it gently back into the sauce. Okay, that's it. One more thing before I'm done. I forgot to show you that my temperature is reading that I just went right in, and it's almost at 150, so I'm good. We are ready to go. Okay, that's it. Just lightly covered with foil. I'm gonna let it rest for 20 minutes. Okay, good cooking takes time. So I took the roast out of the little dish I had it cooking in. I have it here still sitting under a little bit of foil. I got the sauce, put it in this measuring cup just to show you that I wanted to take the oil off. So you can kind of see it here. Now you don't have to take every last little bit off, but if you take your time, you can get most of it. Auntie Fee did not do that. She used the oil, and I am reserving it. I am reserving it. That's the way that the sauce looks. You see a lot of that color is coming from that seasoned oil. So this is the aromatics, that wet season, some of that, you know, the pork. It looks great. And here is the piece de résistance, the pork. So I'm just gonna get my scissor, pull it off. Okay, I don't want to stress out the meat, so I'm just going to carefully, when I see that it's starting to get a little tangled, I'm gonna just cut it so that I don't rip through the meat, because her meat was perfectly intact. Okay, wow, I could feel, see, it's kind of what I don't want to pull off the seasoning. Right, it looks beautiful. You want to make sure there is no leftover string on here. Again, this is just for my daughter, my husband, and me. Oops. Back over here. Okay. Or like Auntie Fee would say, get back on the bus. All right. That's it. So I'm going to take this string, I'm going to discard the string. Check it very carefully to make sure there are no little pieces of string left over. Throw this away, wash my hand, and then I'll be back. Look at how beautiful this is, well rested. I'm telling you, this loin is so moist. I don't want to rip it up yet, but I could just tear that off with my finger. I could just knock it off with a spoon. That looks wonderful. Look at that. Auntie Fee and her fresh seasoning. Lots of different countries have, you know, what's called a fresh seasoning. In Puerto Rico, they call it one thing. In Spain, they call it another. But it's a version. Ricado or... Anyways. We'll talk about fresh seasoning another time. Let's just focus on this beauty. I think the twine did a great job at just kind of keeping it together. Auntie Fee seasoning did not fall apart. It looked together. The only reason I did that was because I made the extra pockets and I just wanted to make sure that it was nice and sustained. So I'm gonna carve. I'm gonna carve and we'll see where we are. To carve, I'm going to use my thin fillet knife. Normally, I would use a serrated knife. If my serrated knife doesn't, because it's really sharp, if my serrated knife doesn't go well, then I will regroup and just get my serrated knife or my carving knife. First slice, look at how beautiful that is. I can't even wait. I'm just going to go for it. Look at this. It's hard to... Let me just get the spoon so you can see how tender it is. It's spoon tender. All right, I'm gonna go into a little bit of the oil. I don't have my Hawaiian rolls yet. the seasoning tastes like a stuffing or like a gravy, like a dressing. It's so well seasoned. Look at that. On Auntie Fee's video, she had the one pocket. Boy, those Hawaiian rolls can't get there fast enough. Can't get here fast enough. Mmm. One last piece. A little bit of the fat. She said put it fat side down. Okay. Well, I guarantee you this thing is absolutely flavorful. Tender is I don't know what. Beautiful. What else do you want? The time has come. All right. The Hawaiian's King rolls just got here. Thank you to my husband. All right. And so Auntie Fee said use one of these. I just split mine in half with a serrated knife. Shoot. I didn't get, darn, I didn't get a little spatula. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. So wait, so Auntie Fee, here's the pork. I sliced it. And then here's the, ooh, it's kind of hot. All right, that's the gravy. And then this is a little bit of the oil. Auntie Fee had hers in one pan, fresh out of the oven. So I think she just did a little oil. I'm not gonna do too much. Okay, but we need enough. I'm not gonna put that in yet. All right, only because, boy, look at this. I didn't get a little spatula, but neither did she. Hold on, maybe if I cut it in half. Boy, it's so tender, I'll tell you. Oops, look at how beautiful it is. I did the three layer, but it's pretty no matter what you do. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this one. I'm going to mix a little bit of my gravy. She went both. I'm gonna go one. I'm gonna put tiniest little bit more on here. I would really like some mayonnaise on here, but I'm gonna try it the OG way like she did. Okay, here we go. Trying Auntie Fee's pork roast for the holidays. Hold on, let me move this serrated knife out of the way. All right, trying Auntie Fee's pork roast for the holidays. Hers looked juicier because she went in, but I'm telling you, this pork is so moist, I don't even know what more it needs. All right, here we go. I think the rest is history. Four bite wonder. Excuse me. Auntie was just giving everybody an idea. That's why I was able to go ahead and adjust it to how I wanted to do it. This is just a good way to cook tenderloin to begin with, regardless of what the seasoning was. She suggested the King's Hawaiian rolls, and those were really good because it added that sweetness. When I make my husband's, he probably wants to have them with a little bit more condiment, like maybe a little mayo. I don't know, maybe a little Dijon mustard. Who knows? Who knows what he's going to want? But please try this. This is so wonderful. I just say bravo. Bravo, Auntie. As usual. They called you the ghetto chef, but you had a lot of solid culinary principles. And my singer's coming back, so I better say goodbye for now. Look at how moist all that looks. Sorry, last video. The kid just stepped out for a second. The last thing I want to say is please subscribe to their channel. I don't know how to link because I'm a cook, not a Steven Spielberg. I don't know how to link or do currently. I could probably look up a video, but their channel is called Auntie and Tavis. And it's still an active channel. I think another one of his channels is bigbossbto. But I can't confirm or deny if that channel is still active necessarily. Okay, I'm out.